What's up guys, Intellitech Studios here, and today we're going to be unboxing and assembling one of the vacuums that I recommend all the time for someone looking for a good vacuum to clean their carpets. This is the Sanitaire Professional SL4110A. I've recommended this vacuum ever since it came out in 2020. As the very month that it came out back in June of 2020, I purchased one of these myself, and as you can see, it still looks and runs like brand new. That being said, I still wanted to get another one and try it out and to gift it to one of my best friends who just moved into a new apartment and has allergies. So I want to get him a nice new machine that's bagged. And because I have a bunch of these Bissell's and Sanitaires that use these bags, I always have bags on hand to give him should he need them. But of course he knows me, so realistically I'll be taking care of the machine. But that being said, I wanted to see what one of these is like brand new 5 years later. So we're going to go ahead and open this up. I'm going to show you how to assemble it. It's incredibly simple, and there will be more videos on this machine in the very near future. Although this machine will likely go straight to my friend, and a lot of those other videos will likely be done with the machine that I've had for all these years. So let's open up the new one and see if there's any changes. I don't believe there are. From what I understand, this machine's been unchanged for the last 5 years, but we're gonna find out for sure. Again, this machine I've recommended constantly. Is an excellent machine, although I do tend to recommend the Bissell Big Green branded version a little bit more. So if you're curious, I've got one of those off screen as well. So this version, the Bissell Big Green commercial, I also recommend equally. They're pretty much the exact same vacuum. There's some slight differences, and I will do a comparison video on both of these very soon, and both of them will be linked in the description. But for the sake of this video, we're opening the Sanitaire. So, opening the top of the box, we can lift up a small piece of cardboard, and here we've got our user's guide, which is actually quite nice because I think I lost my original one. It's very crumpled, but it does exist. Now, unfortunately, one of the things I complained about with my Sanitaire when I bought it was the way they put the hose in the box, which made it kinked out of the box. If I pull this hose out, we can see this hose yet again is kinked out of the box. It's not a huge deal. When you're using it, you're not really going to notice. It doesn't really matter, but it's just something that kind of annoyed me a little bit. See, it's kind of at an angle there, but it's not a big deal. It is very interesting seeing a nice, fresh one of these. That is one thing I do, if I had to complain about, is that I don't really like these clear hoses because the second you use them, they get dirty and you can't really see through the hose anyways. But, hey, it's still nice to have. So, we've got that hose, and then up top we've got our attachments. We've got our combination dusting brush and upholstery tool. It ships on the upholstery side, although I find this side to be relatively useless. I keep it on the brush side, and this is a nice stiff brush, so not for anything delicate, but if you're doing upholstery or brushing your cat, it is very good for that. In fact, if I pull the one off of mine, you can see I have been brushing Rocco with it. Works very well for that. So yeah, got that. Got our extension wand, which is much longer than the consumer versions. Unfortunately, we still have a small crevice tool. I wish that Bissell would put, and yes, I said Bissell because Bissell owns Sanitaire. This is a Bissell design. I wish Bissell would put a longer crevice tool in with this machine. On my particular Sanitaire, I actually replaced the crevice tool with a much longer one, and you can find these online if you do want to upgrade the crevice tool. But the one that's in here will still work just fine. It nestles in the extension wand just like that for storage. Alright, there's not much else to it. We've got our handle, which has our screws taped to the top of it, and some cardboard packaging there. So that's all there. We'll set that aside. And finally, we've got the machine. Now, there's a little bit of a handle up front where the bag is. It might be kind of hard to grab while the machine's in the box. So I'll unwrap it a little bit, and now I can grab this lip and pull it out. Alright, and that's it as far as what's in the box. So now if we push this down, we can push this upright, just like that. And on my unit, it looks like the bag door. Oh, there's a lot of dust in this package. So in this unit, it looks like the bag door came off, but we can just click that back on. So while I'm here, I already did a separate video on these Bissells on how to change the bag, but since you're watching this video, you might not be familiar with it. So to change the bag, pop off this door, just pulls off friction. You're gonna reach in, and you're gonna pull the top part of the bag down so that way you can see the collar. Then you're gonna grab the cardboard collar and pop it out. Once this bag gets full, you're gonna throw it away. You're gonna grab a new bag, you're gonna hold it by the collar like this and push it on until it clears all the way back. You're gonna tuck the bag in. Ooh, one thing I just noticed is that, wow, one of the things I complained about with my Sanitaire when I got it is that this filter was very flimsy feeling. This one actually does feel a lot better, so that's good. They did upgrade the filter. Now, under normal use, you should never have to worry about this filter. Again, I've had mine for 5 years and I've never had to clean that filter. So as long as you don't do anything stupid like run it without a bag, you should be okay. And then whenever you're done, put the little tab in that little groove right there and click it into place. It's so funny, this is like dustier than the one that I have just because of the packaging. There's also another filter right here, if you're curious about it. Ooh, this door is really stiff on this one. Sorry, I know I'm kind of all over the place. Yeah, I think this one was... I don't know what's up with this one. That's strange. There we go. Okay. Then we have a post motor filter right there. I don't know why this one was so stiff. Either way. Should be okay. Very strange. Alright, so now we begin the assembly process. Now, for the assembly process, which, are we 7 minutes in? No way. I apologize. So, we're 7 minutes in, and now's the actual assembly process. You're going to need a standard number 2 Phillips head screwdriver for this. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab our handle. We're going to pop off this cardboard, and we're going to unwrap this bag down here and pull out the handle. Now on the handle, there is a small bag of screws taped to the handle. So we're going to remove this bag. I'm trying to think of how to do this without leaving tape residue, which it looks like there already is. So I'm just going to rip this off. Maybe. I'm trying to figure out how this is on here. Okay, so there's some tape right there, so we can peel that off. There we go, that's what we wanted. There was a little bit of residue left over. We can always wipe that down. And here's our 3 screws. Now, one of these screws is going to hold on the handle, and the other 2 screws is going to hold on the hose collar. So we're going to pop this open. We're going to grab these 3 screws and pop these out. And so we're going to take our handle and we're just going to line it up with the top of the machine and slide it into place. Just like that, we're going to push it forward until it sits flush. Then we're going to take one of our screws and we're going to put it in the handle. We're going to line it up and then we're going to tighten it until it's completely tight. Just like that. Alright, so the handle's on. That was quick. Now, we're going to take the hose. Now, this end of the hose with these little clips and things on it, this is going to go onto the back of the machine. But to make it easier, we're going to actually twist the hose. We're going to twist the hose counterclockwise, and we're going to pop the hose out. I find it easier to install this bracket whenever it's separate from the hose, at least personally. So, we're going to turn this around. We're going to push this on. You can see it's keyed in a certain way. It only goes on one way. and we're going to push it on. It's not really going to click, but it's going to kind of sit into place a little bit. It'll kind of feel like it's not quite lining up at first, but we're going to go ahead and put the screws in. Don't worry about it. It'll straighten itself out as you put in the screws. So we're going to take our screws and put them in. Shouldn't require too much force. Now, these screws are designed in a way to where you can also use a flathead if you have to, but I feel like a Phillips head is going to be a bit more friendly, especially it's going to be less likely to slip off and everything. So I feel like Phillips head screws in general, or Phillips head screwdrivers in general, are a little bit easier to use. I say that as I immediately skip past the thread on that screw. So I'm going to put these screws in. And now this bracket is on correctly and we can feel there's no gaps or anything. So all that is good. Now the assembly is almost over. We're going to grab that hose, and since I already popped off the hose, we have to reinstall it. So we're going to push it into those grooves and twist it counterclockwise. Did I say counterclockwise last time? I meant clockwise. We're going to twist it counterclockwise a quarter turn, and it will click into place. Just like that. Now if you never remove the hose from the cuff like I did, then you wouldn't need to do this. But yeah, so we're going to do that. And then our hose pushes down into the collar, or into the lower hose like this. You want to make sure this is pushed down all the way, because if it's not, the brush roll will catch dirt and spit it out of this hose. So you got to make sure you don't have that problem. Now we're going to push this up into the clip, just like that. Are we still filming? Yes. And now the machine itself is pretty much assembled. We're going to take our extension wand with the crevice tool sheathed inside. We're going to put it right here and click it on just like that. And finally, we're going to take our combination tool with the brush side facing towards the left, and we're going to hook it onto this little tab down here and push it up until it clicks into place while pushing it forward a bit so it pushes in. A lot of people struggle with getting this on correctly, but once you've done it a couple times, it'll be second nature. And now, if you want to wrap the cable, we can undo this lovely free twist tie that they threw in with the machine. Sorry, it's late. My jokes don't usually have the same amount of zing as they usually do, so I apologize. We can twist this lower cord hook up to the upright position, and we can begin to wrap the cord around the around the upper and lower cord winders. Just like that. Now obviously the cord is going to be a little bit stiff at first, especially because this is a lot thicker than your standard consumer grade vacuum cord. It's a lot better quality. But once this is all done, we can clip the cable to the end of the clip. Ow, that's very stiff. Just like that. There we go. And it's even got a nice little cord protector on there, which we will leave for my friend to take off of his new machine. So, all of that is excellent. Now, one thing that I'm going to do before I gift this machine to my friend who's going to be receiving it is I'm going to upgrade the bag. Now the bag that comes in here is a paper bag, which is more than fine if you don't have allergies, you're not too worried about filtration. It's still going to be better than any bagless machine on the market. But I'm going to upgrade this bag. Now, it says it uses Sanitaire style BU. Ignore that. Bissell style 7 bags are what this uses, and those are, you're way more likely to find other bags, including the Clean Fairy Bissell style 7 HEPA bags, which I absolutely love. I recommended them for years, and those I will link in the description, and I'll grab one real quick and show you how to install it. Here is one of our Clean Fairy Bissell style 1 and 7 HEPA bags. Now, they do sell these in a paper version as well, but I recommend the cloth HEPA. Much better quality, much better filtration. Now, to install this, we're just simply going to grab the cardboard collar. So I like to fold the top part of the bag down so we can grab the collar And you see that collar right there, a little tube. You're going to put it on the tube and push it back until it's all the way on. It can be a little tricky. Sometimes you might want to lay it against you to push the bag all the way on. Yep, so you want to push it all the way on like that. There we go. Tuck the bag in, grab our bag door, and click it on. And now our brand new Sanitaire SL4110A is not only fully assembled, but has been upgraded with a much nicer bag. So now this machine will filter very well, and it will clean very well as well. Not joking, this machine will blow 0 on a particle counter, even with the standard filter on the exhaust, without it being upgraded to a HEPA filter. But that is something you can also do. You can also upgrade this to a HEPA filter as well. So all that is nice. So based on the unboxing and the quality that I can see of this machine, I can still recommend it, just like my old unit. So unfortunately, the prices on these do kind of vary a little bit. I bought this whenever it was $120, which I think that's a perfect price for this. A lot of times they're around $140, which is a little much in my opinion. But if you can get this for $120 or even $100, it's an amazing vacuum. And even at the full like $145, $160, whatever these normally go for, it's still okay. But usually the big green version, which I think gets the slight edge, this green version ends up being a little bit cheaper. But I will link both of these machines on Amazon below, so that way you can grab one. Sorry if I'm out of breath. But anyways, that's the Sanitaire SL4110A professional bagged upright vacuum with tools. Basically an old school Bissell Power Force or Power Glide with an upgraded motor, upgraded seals, upgraded handle, upgraded plastics, metal reinforcements on various parts of the machine, and a longer commercial grade cord. So if you're wondering what you get for the price markup, it's not inflation, it's not the tariffs. What it is this does have a substantial amount of upgrades in the design and build quality over the consumer units that you may have bought at Walmart 15, 20 years ago. So, and the nice thing is that they're much better than anything that's currently in Walmart right now, for sure. Anyways, this is Intellitech Studios signing out. I apologize if the actual unboxing portion of this video took longer than it normally does. Normally, it's been my goal to do that immediately for those of you who are looking for specifically the unboxing and don't care about the other stuff. But for those of you that did stick till the end, I greatly appreciate it. And I hope you can understand, as this is a machine that I've recommended a lot. So if you did buy one of these, trust me, you made a great choice, at least in my opinion. These are the only machines that I've consistently used and been happy with that I bought new. And I've had this Sanitaire SL4110A since it came out back in 2020. And this Bissell Big Green back here I've had since 2018. And despite them being used both in my home and commercially, and especially the Big Green version being absolutely beat in many, many commercial environments, these machines still have stood the test of time. Sometimes simple is just the best way to go. Anyways, this is Intellitech Studios signing out. Have a good one. Peace.